Welcome to the Her Voice Shines podcast, where we celebrate the power, brilliance, and resilience of women everywhere. I'm your host, Shanasia Washington. Join us as we share inspiring stories and insights from extraordinary women who have found their voice and are making a difference. Together, we'll create a ripple effect, illuminating the path to visibility and empowerment. Let's break barriers, shatter ceilings, and lift each other up. In each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of women who have turned their challenges into triumphs and their dreams into reality. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or a community that understands your journey, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. You know where you landed. It's Shanasia Watson, your fabulous host of the Her Voice Shines podcast, streaming from H-Town, Houston, Texas, baby. You know how we do. And guess what? It's been on fire, this recording session. I've been telling them, like, y'all let me do my mad dash. Y'all come in here, and we have had the most transformative conversations. Today has been very busy. By the time you see this, I'm probably going to be laying back, chilling somewhere, because you know how we get these out here. But I'm in the background always refining ways to create connections so that when the women come here and show up, they can do the thing how they're supposed to do the thing. And today will be no different. We have a fabulous guest that's going to come to the stage and do our normal drill, which is tell us her name, where she's streaming from, and we'll get the magic of her story. Without any further waiting time, here's this very beautiful guest for today.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I am Toyiah Marquis, owner and founder of the international accessories brand Patch Party Club. I am tuning in from Chicago, Illinois.
Wait a minute. Did I hear Chirac? No, I'm just playing. She said we got some Chi-Town in the building. I absolutely love it. It's been a while since I've been around that parts, but I have cousins that frequent Chicago on the regular. Okay. That is their absolute second home. So happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about you. It doesn't have to be a lot because I have enough to go, but just something about you. Just kick us off into who you are and really what you do.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm Toyiah Marquis, owner and founder of Patch Party Club. We're international accessories brand. We sell hope, faith, sarcasm, culture, everything in a patch. Grew up in Chicago, raised here in Chicago, businesswoman. I've been in business since 2003. That's really the core of who I am. Entrepreneur at heart, born and raised with this entrepreneurial spirit. And I just love empowering people. I love inspiring people. And I just love what I do. I have a passion for what it is that I do.
Look, she not already came here looking out. Did she say protecting her peace? Is there from the line?
My piece. Yes, it is from Patch Party.
I absolutely love it. And in today's time and world and all the chaotic stuff, it is very, very important to protect your peace.
Absolutely.
And if you do have a peace in your life, please consider that a major blessing, because I know many and talk to many on all occasions that do not have their level of peace. So when you started this, just tell me this, that you already know that Patch Party was going to be more than just, a patch brand. Is going to be bigger than a product brand, because what you're doing is kind of beyond product. Is actually starting to messaging. When you first started, was it always the idea that it would be that, or did you just kind of start on the product side?
So no, I did not. So I started out doing t-shirts, right? So I got laid off from my 15-year job. So after I got laid off, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I don't want to go back into corporate America. I want to be able to work for myself. So I started doing t-shirts, and the t-shirt market became oversaturated. So I decided to do something different. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do t-shirts, I want to add something else to a t-shirt to make it more unique and to make it stand out. So I started adding patches to t-shirts. And during that time, I didn't see many patches that reflected the African-American culture. It was more so like the Euro patches. They weren't hip. So I was like, you know what? Let me make some patches that's going to represent us, and that's going to have that cool tone. And that's just going to be, like a representation of who we are as a people in a positive light. And so I decided to start creating my own patches. And so once I did that, they kind of grew legs of their own. I created a queen patch, a king patch. And those two patches alone, just sold out like crazy. And from there, that's when I knew, I'm like, you know what? That was my aha moment. That's what the world was waiting on. Well, the culture was waiting on. And so from there, I just started to create more, and people just started asking me to create other things. And it's just been on and popping since.
Absolutely. I love it. And, sometimes this, like life gives you lemons, make lemonade. You said
Yeah.
it was intentional. It was time to go. Probably didn't feel like it at the time, but time's up, baby. You got to figure out what you're going to do and put your mark on the world.
Mm-hmm.
And to think about that, when I left corporate back in 2021, it was very much hard to do because that's all I had been engraved in. I had never envisioned myself to really be a builder per se, or even an entrepreneur. That wasn't in my spirit, I thought. Because I had been so ingrained in a 13-year culture, fast moving, multiple, promotions and all different things, and kind of climbing that ladder. So I'm like, what y'all be doing over here on this side of life?
Yes.
That's something I really don't know about. But I think really in your journey, what's happened, you've had to kind of shift from being a creative to now doing more visionary CEO stuff. Because now it's more than just like the passion. Okay, like what are you going to do to keep products that are fresh? What am I going to do to scale? What am I going to bring on people? Now you're doing an actual part of personal brand building, because here you are on the platform and there's a visibility aspect of it. So these are visionary CEO pieces, right? So identity shift from going from creative, but now Toyiah, baby, that's not good enough now. Okay. How did you get to a visionary CEO? Tell us about the walking between the two and how you're walking it out now.
Okay, so it's a struggle. When you're creative, it's very hard to get out of that seat of being a creative, because I really just love to be behind the scenes, like sketching ideas out, writing down my thoughts. But then having to put on that visionary CEO hat is different, because now I'm building the community. Now I'm teaching classes, I'm hosting classes, I'm doing activations, corporate activations, and things like that. So it's kind of hard, it's a mental thing. So you have to really prepare yourself mentally to step into that zone, right? So I'm having fun with it though. I'm learning how to pivot in terms of just getting out of the creative side, like just being able to let other people create for me, and allow people in the back end to help me with other things. As before, I didn't really have that. It was just me doing everything. So now it's like just embracing that team, embracing my family, and pivoting to like bigger platforms.
Mm-hmm. And then the other part of it, I think, what leads me, subconsciously, it was like, okay, you have to trust people with something that you actually believe in. And that's a whole kind of different part of the walk, because it's like, it's okay, you got somebody over there, you got a body in the seat, but what are they doing? Do they care about it? Do they got a little sense? Is there some research behind it? Is there some heart behind it? Right. Those are all things that, me personally, I've had to deal with in becoming really kind of moving towards visionary. And then, believe it or not, like even stepping over into this side of it, which is kind of a real big extension of my brand, really the most natural thing I do in my brand. It's really the most natural. It doesn't feel like work. It don't nothing. I just come in here, sit and have a conversation like I talk with my friends. Okay, you would have been here out there on the park seat, we would have been having the same conversation. And when somebody said, you need to put something around that. You need to. And I even challenged. I'm like, I ain't doing no podcast. A podcast. I told them, really straight up, but it has been, and I say it publicly all the time, it's been one of the most solid relationship builders that I've had since inception. Really and truly, because, I usher that energy in, because I don't want it just to feel like, my guests have to take the time. I'm not the only one having to sit here and exert time. They have to go through the process of getting the form together. They have to show up. We have to record. We have to do all the things. So in a person that's very intentional about time, I don't have time to waste y'all time.
Oh yeah.
I just can't. I just didn't consciously operate like that. So we always drive to give the good experience. So when I thought about that, I was like, okay, it has to feel good, even from the people on the back end that are helping with graphics. We want error rate low. We want response, pretty high. We want those things so that when they leave this space with me and they may have to interact with you, it don't feel like they've been dropped in a black hole.
Right.
They're like, well, what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. Yeah.
I want to ask you this as a creative, because in a place, especially it's fast moving, when you put your creative energy out there, sometimes ideas are quickly copied and emulated. And I'm saying this because I know on the side that you do, I look around and be reading about all kinds of trends. And you guys are in a different space in this time where they have manufacturers and all these people that take it very quickly and put it on their sites for fractions of the cost and all different things. How do you protect your creativity without becoming discouraged? And you need to sit in this and really talk about it, because I already know from a consumer.
Wow. Oh, this is a deep one, right? This is a deep one. So like you said, in an industry that's fast moving, where original ideas and designs are copied at a super fast rate, it is discouraging to see. But I have been just trying to deal with the pressure, right? Just scaling with the challenges and dealing with the knockoff. So I'm overcoming that through resilience, right? Just praying, just staying like in my faith. Because it is times where you want to give up when you see like people taking your original designs, things that you have put your time, your effort, your creativity into, taking it, and then they're selling it for like pennies on a dollar. It makes you want to quit. But when you're able to, just hone in on the big picture, on what it is and why you're doing it, that's the biggest thing. It's really is my why. My why is my daughters. My why is touching the community. My why is building the community and allowing people to get the joy from the products that I create. And then I'm able to pivot and go onto platforms like the Temu or Amazon, things like that, and have my voice to shine on bigger platforms, right? So I'm reaching more people. So I'm able to share that with more people faster. And those are kind of the things that help me deal with the challenges.
And that's so good that why is always going to be important. That's also a driver for me. Although I have a son, and I have a Her Voice Shines podcast, the other part of the extension of the work that I do here is to show him to be able to stand firm in who he is. You don't have to be like anybody else's son, not even like mommy, but you're going to see that mom is going to show up and do it the best way that she knows how to, in her light and strength. And I want you to take that encouragement and apply that to whatever journey God has for you in this space. So I have to get up and be an exact example of that, while it may just look like, just showing up to have a conversation. No, this is the gift that he's given me to be able to build community in real time. And I operate and act in it the best way possible. So that's the best example I can give him in real time. So that why is going to always be something that's incredibly important.
It is.
I love the community piece, and I love that you are showing up, and hopefully you are doing other things to show your face and your likeness behind the brand, because people are needing that and that human connection. Because some people, they may not always like the product. They say, "Oh, I just like Toyiah." That girl.
Yes.
Able
to know you, like you, trust you, and then I like to have my ear to the street, and I love to talk to my community. I spend a lot of time, in my groups, talking to my customers and just listening to what they have to say. So that actually helps separate you from everything else that's going on.
It does. And that building of community, so many people are in need of it. So that storytelling piece, you keep doing it. You keep showing up, and you keep, sometimes showing the good and the bad. People connect with people, ebbs and flows, just from a personal standpoint. And they really buy into that. Right. And I got people that'll say, "Girl, I ain't gonna come on your podcast. I'm too shy," but they'll watch it and they'll. I say, you're not shy. You could have been on there. We could have been done by now. I say, I'm gonna get you to do that thing. So y'all can play with y'all time, not mine. So you. I still remain to be real sweet, but it's just that particular thing. And I have elders that will call me, and they're, older women, like, "Oh my gosh, I just love what you do. How can I sell it to you? What can I do?" And that is just because of them seeing the ripple effect of what happens. It's not even truly about them even coming into this space or needing the service that I provide behind this space. They don't need it. They don't care. They 65 and living life on cruises, 3 and 5 and 6. They're like, "Baby, we just want to help you. What you doing?"
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
So that's what I'm saying, just to show up and build that community around it. It's so super important. Another thing I want to go here and pivot, because when I had more time, I was like a DIY girl. I ain't got the time anymore. I wish I did. I wish I did. I used to do all kinds of stuff for Christmas, make Maurice, and I used to make the mailbox swag, and I used to have all this time that I just can't seem to capture anymore. But I was a DIY girl for a good piece, a little phase I had there. Tell me, what are people really looking for when they want to engage in DIY and wearable art and creative experiences? Because I am creative too. I wear a little bit of anything. I like to, put my clothes stuff on. But in creative experiences and DIY specifically, what do you think that people are actually looking for when they participate in that kind of stuff?
Wow. So when
I did not tell you I was gonna make you work. Now go and ask the question I told you.
They are looking for I would say identity. They're looking for self-expression. They're looking to be unique, and they're looking to be like one of a kind. So that's what I see mostly when people are participating in the DIY experiences. They want to be, just them. They want to be able to express themselves without saying a word. They want people to be able to just look at whatever it is that they're putting together and say, oh, wow, like that's their personality. So they just want to be different.
Yeah, and they want that identity, like you said, that connection to be or whatever. Because especially them people that's really into it, they don't care if you like it or not.
Exactly. Yes, I tell people all the time, there's no right and there's no wrong.
It's not.
There's no right and wrong.
It's not. And if people look at a different level, you're trying to look through someone else's perception. You don't got that power,
right?
You didn't give it to them. So I love people that have creative fashion and they blur the lines, they do it their way. And I love that. Yeah. And I have a couple of girl used to be like deep in the DIY. I had like a couple of friends they had. I did. Yeah, I was like deep in it. And I have some friends that still do it, and they, they make jackets, they put like the stuff patches on their jacket and cut up stuff, and they go into the thrifts and all this kind of stuff. I was doing that, girl, and I was doing like massive couponing, probably like 2019.
Oh wow, okay.
2019, 2018-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And I'd even never shared this on the podcast. We've gone through different pockets, and then when a certain guest comes, it ignites something. I was like, oh yeah, I did kind of go through that, didn't I? Went through. I was like legit doing it at one time, and I had an aunt, God rest her soul, my grandfather's sister. And she was like an OG DIY girl. This girl could do all kind of, she could sew and everything. She would even like DIY furniture. And this was a little petite lady. She would pick up furniture on side the road, scrub it down, and have that thing looking new. If people want to buy it, she was a bad girl. And I didn't even realize until how much I got older when I looked. I was like, oh, she really was creative and doing a bunch of different things. Yeah, she made my dress for my maternity shoot. She died about a year and a half after that. I still have the dress hanging. It made a customized scarf for me and all different things. I wore that at my maternity shoot. So it does run in my blood, on my maternal side. Lots of seamstress and people that can sew and use their hands and really put creativity in the earth. So, I got a little touch, just a little bit.
I think everybody got it in them. We have so many people come like to our patch parties, and they're like, when they come in the door, they're like, I don't have an inch of creativity in me. But by the time they leave, they're like the fashion designer that's going to be on New York Fashion Week.
Wow.
So yes, I think everybody has it in them.
I love that. I know that I looked on the form and you said through Patch Party Club, you do have, I think it's called the Glare Club. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Mm-hmm. So the Glare Club, that's our, we've had this 501c3 since 2010. So it was actually around before Patch Party Club, and this Girls Loving and Respecting Everyone Club.
Oh,
so we've been mentoring girls with arts and crafts, entrepreneurship, and job readiness, and just Tell
me why you think exposure is so important, especially for this next generation. I think about exposure and what they need, and I want you to really talk about it because I know specifically in our culture, exposure is so important. I'm actually back in schools now. I've been through a few here in the Houston area. I didn't expect to be there either. But exposure early on. Tell me about why you believe it's so important for the next generation.
Okay. So I think exposure is very important for the next generation because it allows them to see someone that looks like them, right? That's able to do something that they probably never thought that they could do. It shows them that the opportunities are limitless. Whatever you put your mind to, you can attain. So I just love, that we're able to mentor girls and let them see that, and just youth, period, and let them see that we are successful. So you can actually attain success as well. And I think it's very important at an early age, because a lot of times in certain communities, we don't see those images, right? What we used to see growing up were white men in business suits, sitting in a conference room, in a boardroom. So now it's shifted. It doesn't necessarily look like that. It looks like you. It looks like me. It looks like the next person. So that just gives them that hope and the opportunity to see that, they can't attain those things.
Yeah, they definitely have to see themselves.
Yeah.
I don't want to say have to, because a lot of us didn't get the opportunity to, but
No.
it's just better when they have that bridge to be able to see themselves and do that. So that's also part of the mission that I commit to. I said, girl, you still got to show up. There is somebody, there is somebody behind you that needs, to hear your exact voice, to hear your exact walk. And that's why I tell people, I heard this one person in the group, she's like, well, I don't want to do motivational speaking. Everybody's speaking and all that. I say, but I called out in the class. I say, but everybody don't have your story, lady. And I could be sitting up there saying the same thing that you're saying, but the sound of your story and the connectivity to someone else can be different based on where they are in their life.
Yes. Yes.
So you don't get the opportunity just to tell me something like you tell all these folks in this room. I say, now that's not. I still shake my head. I said, that's not right, don't you? You know that you have to use what you have been given.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are sitting here comparing yourself to hers, his, them, and all them, it's a slap in your father's face for what he has gifted you. He gives us all. Right. He has no respect for people. It's no respect. He gives us all something to put into the earth.
Unique. Yeah.
So, you can either, take that or leave that. And I say to everybody who kind of like co-signed it, shame on y'all, because I'm here to tell you guys, maybe it's something in you that hasn't ignited to where you can give someone else, but I'm here to tell you, even in your brokenness or your confusion or whatever it is.
Yes.
There's something in you that could definitely be given.
Okay. Yeah. We never know what might inspire somebody.
Never. Hey, and you never, ever know who's watching. I have literally had people.
Yes.
So they have come back to me from, I've been watching you for 3 years. I'm like, well, I had nothing for 3 years. I wasn't really doing nothing then. Yeah. And they like, no, we've been going up, and I've been, you just never know. And you never know who you're inspiring or touching. You just don't. So it just you're called to do that. And to be honest, it's not really their job to say you're there. You are accountable for your journey, regardless of who you touch, whether it's 1 or 100.
Yes, absolutely.
You're the one that's accountable for that. Okay. So that's why it's mission, and that's really another cause of the podcast, because we want to make sure that y'all showing up and telling us all y'all stuff, even though y'all be saying, oh, well, I don't have. I'm like, oh, right. I got it. Okay. Let's talk about this international parts. I know you have international travel and supplier relationships, which is common, of course, for creators and product owners and different sorts that get supplies from all over the place. Former career, global exchange. We were working at a foreign exchange bank, so
nice.
I already had a global kind of context prior to coming out into this space. How does global exposure help you think about your business? I didn't realize that all the stuff that I was gaining there would actually come and actually for real be beneficial out here in terms of just conducting myself amongst other types of people, other cultures, other climates. I didn't realize how that is. I'll be honest. I don't even think this podcast would probably be as effective. I want to be very clear. Without that experience, like, yes, I would have showed up and did my job, but there's a lot of excellence I want to operate in. But because I had, for 7 years, I had been talking to people literally all over the globe and really want to understand climates and cultures. So I was already kind of predestined to have, if you will, a variety of different types of conversations with different types of people. So that's how global exposure made me think about my business as a communications aligned business. Yes. So you and seeing that what did it do for you, just in thought process when you started to get a lot of global exposure? How did that make you think about your business?
Oh, wow. So there's two sides to it. So the first side, I would say, as far as the product side, just the global exposure, being on platforms like a Temu, it opens you up to a wider audience, right? So I'm able to touch people all over the world than I would just being on my website alone. But the other side to that is I actually have been on the ground in China for 16 and a half years. We've been taking entrepreneurs there since like 2011. And just being able to get on the ground and go inside the factories and make those connections have been super, super integral. It's been a great part of the business, just being able to connect those dots and bridge the gap, between manufacturers here and manufacturers there, right? So I wouldn't really have access to them if I wouldn't have, got on the ground in China and been on the ground since. Just learning the culture, learning how to do business globally has been a huge game changer for my business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure it has. And even being there and just seeing how they process time, how they communicate, how they do different things.
Yeah.
It also too gives you a level of emotional intelligence to understand how different people across the world may process something that looks the same as you, but have a whole different idea and methodology around how they process it and touch it. So that's absolutely great. And you're taking people out there and letting them see what's going down and all that. I
tell people you have a different appreciation for it when you actually go. You said, clock that T. Okay, clock that T.
Okay.
You have a different appreciation. And then just establishing those relationships are golden. That's the goal behind it.
Yeah, and for 15 years, obviously, it's been good and you've been able to still thrive. So definitely congratulations there.
Thank you.
When I looked on the form, you said that your legacy is about empowerment, creativity, and entrepreneurship. We've definitely blended those things throughout the life of the interview. But tell me personally, what does ownership mean to you beyond business?
Ownership to me is kind of like success, right? So it's not so much about money. It's more so about freedom, your time, being able to touch people, being able to just live in your passion, do what it is that you love to do. And that's really what ownership is to me, right? It's about just legacy, being able to pass on what I'm doing now to my daughters once they get of age, to be able to handle it.
Absolutely. They're planting that seed early, and they've been taking notes a long time, girl. These kids be taking notes before we even realize they taking notes. Because when that mine come and serve me up some, I say, "Oh, okay." Okay, I see how you moving, and they are watching. They may not always sit out their mouth.
Yes,
but they are watching.
Yeah.
So, girl, kudos to you for doing this thing, for walking it out, for also standing for something that means something to you, and working on it and putting it into business. I'm proud of you, and I'm so thankful that you came here.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I want to make sure that we have great connection points, a clean segment for that. So if anybody wants to shop the brand or connect with you directly, whatever you want to get for connection points, I want to make sure we have a clean segment for that. So I'll let you do that now.
Okay. So I am Toyiah Marquis. You can find me on patchpartyclub.com. You can find me on Temu. We have an official store on Temu. It's Patch Party Club Official. You can find me anywhere on social media under Patch Party Club. So that's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, X, everywhere. Just Patch Party Club.
Thank you so much for that. I want to make sure I asked just one other question because it kind of came to mind. I didn't think to ask it before, but I want you to speak to another creative because sometimes creatives struggle with monetizing their gifts. It's not always the easiest thing. And I meet tons of creatives out here in Houston. They're young creatives. Oh my God, they're just so brilliant. And many of them don't see their creative path as being something that can sustain them, right? And I tell them, I'm like, y'all, I interview all kinds of creatives, I talk to all kinds of people. I try and connect them if it's something that I'm not personally, knowledgeable enough of to give sound advice. I try and connect them with the appropriate people because I want them to see people like you that do some of the things that they aspire to do. Why do you think so many creative entrepreneurs underestimate the value of their ideas? Like I said, it's definitely something. I know that you speak to younger people, but I think it's definitely something to lead with because sometimes what they'll never tell you are the limiting beliefs that live here because they haven't gotten the tools yet in most cases, a lot of times in our culture, to speak that out loud. So when I go and speak to the age demographic, I've done some level of high-level research that makes me a little bit more on the ground with them. And I'm able to get that from them to give to others that speak to them about stuff that I don't. So I play that role a little bit just to make sure that the connection is a little bit sound. So just tell me from your perspective, why do you think that some of them might feel like it's just something that shouldn't be valued?
That's a good question. And I think it's because they just don't know. We've never seen it, right? So like this creative thing, like the DIY space really emerged after COVID, right? So you saw entrepreneurs like really getting on shelves and getting on major platforms after that because we had to pivot because I have a brick and mortar in Chicago. And so after that, I had to really, when the world shut down, I had to think about, okay, what am I going to do now? Because this is my livelihood. So I had to go on to, different platforms. And so I don't think that the creative entrepreneurs saw that as a viable source. They didn't see it as opportunity because I never knew that certain platforms allowed creatives to actually sell independently on those platforms. So for the creatives that are, like questioning their abilities or where they could go with it, I say, just really hone in on your gift and be patient. Patience is the main key. Don't let social media or the outside noise force you into something, right? You got to have tunnel vision. So focus on that one thing and then just try to build on that. But there's definitely opportunities for us in the creative space now, way more than there ever was. So there's so many opportunities available to us now.
Absolutely. So even, no matter your age, if you're creative and you feel like you're struggling, may want to tap in and, look around at patch parties, clubs, and see the things so that you can see the possibilities of what can be. Sometimes it just takes the sight of it. Sometimes it doesn't take the actual, we don't get to the language yet, but if I can see it, which we said several times of what could be, now my mind is expanded to a place that it can't go back before. So I wanted to make sure I said that. Now, this is the part in our show where we cued our guests for final thoughts. We asked them to give us some great parting words for the space that we shared and really something that captures the essence of really who you are. So I feel to you for final thoughts. So go and get ready for your final thoughts because here it comes. I'll be back to close the show.
Okay. So final thoughts, I would just say is focus. Just be you, be your authentic self when in everything that you do, when it's creating products, when it's speaking to the people, when it's inspiring and all of that, just be you. Like I said before, don't let other people brush your success, right? Like if you just take your time and focus on what it is that you want to do and just being true to yourself, everything else will just fall into place. And just stay faithful. That's all I can say. Just stay faithful.
That is so good. I am working on my faithfulness and staying.
Girl, it's a lot.
I'm working on it. I tell people all the time, I'm pretty transparent about things. I said, from 2024, probably that year specifically was probably my biggest faith shift to date as an adult. I would say. And then I kind of find like things of this year are coming. And I'm like, okay, this is a different thing. I got to anchor down, but I can honestly say, since trying to build, I ain't never been as close to him. I've never been so close to him. I don't think I would have had, I'm serious, I don't think I would have had the same relationship had I entered or stayed in my career trajectory. And this is not, knocking anybody, but I'm just saying for me personally, I would have not had the relationship with our father.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is a faith walk.
Yeah.
It's a true faith walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So Thank you. I want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful time shared. I always love to have a variety of people come here so that we have a representation of the what is and what could be. People know that I'm always going to go look for the different types of women, from corporate, to creatives, to researchers, to doctors, to politicians. Who, we're going to have the conversation because the more conversations that we have, the more walls fall. I'm an advocate for it. I will always say this has been a bridge for me. And to everyone that is out there watching in the Her Voice Shines podcast land, I tell you, there miraculous things happen when you let your voice shine. And really like the folk at church say, I love you, ain't nothing you can do about that. But you come back next time for another amazing woman on the Her Voice Shines podcast. She's so crazy. I love y'all. And
I had an amazing